Hi everyone. I've just got some important updates for you regarding reading that will hopefully make everybody's life much easier. And I think the children will really enjoy it and we'll get a lot more out of it than we have been doing recently. So if you just bear with me, I'll just quickly share my screen. So I want to introduce this to you. So this is our reading diet. It started off as a 2-page spread and it's developed over time. So this is on our staff share under Reading 2020-2021. So the first slide here just talks basically about how we use the Scarborough reading rope as our tool to teach reading. This next slide talks about the reading diet. So this is the diet that we provide all pupils for reading in school. Now there have been some changes and this is what I want to talk about today. So obviously starting left to right, we teach synthetic phonics and that is done every day through EYFS, Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2 for those children that need it is done by interventions. Frequency of reading experiences. So these are things that really now we have to make sure are happening every day. So there's a whole class end of day reading session with every child with a book in chorus style reading, eyes and pencils tracking for around 20 minutes. Daily reading through ebooks, Bug Club. So in every classroom now or in the space practice area you choose, I would like you to have a laptop set up with Bug Club with the children's names as a tick list next to it and their login details if they need it, and make sure that children are accessing Bug Club throughout the week. One-to-one reading after school clubs are happening and daily small group after school clubs, reading for pleasure sessions. So in your shared areas, you should have some reading for pleasure books, which a child should be encouraged to take home each day. And then this is the new part I'm going to introduce to you in a few minutes called the Watch Me Read video recordings, which will happen over the next 12 weeks. Their own broad library. Obviously, we have the community bookshop. We have the block reading for pleasure areas. In the classroom, there should be our topic-based books and reference texts. Children should be taking home a benchmarked book, the decodable phonics phase book, which is for EYFS and Key Stage 1, and their bedtime storybook, or for Key Stage 2, we call it their reading for pleasure book each day. And we need to make sure that we are tracking this, that we know that the children are getting their reading scheme books every day. We're going to be developing the outdoor reading areas, book swap opportunities, and of course, our daily remote reading through the ebook scheme Bug Club. How do we support the children? We have TA Reading After School Reading Club, Parent Reading Champions, Parent Phonics Champions, Reading Role Models, Community Support. Obviously, this is more so when we can invite people back into school. Teacher Reading CPD sessions, TA CPD sessions, the Open University UKLA Teacher Reading Group, our Book Club, Padlet, and our remote reading community workshops. So the teaching. In school, Key Stage 1 and EYFS have structured phonics sessions of 30 minutes each day. There are daily structured teaching of reading sessions, which should be between 30 to 45 minutes each day. And of course, the end of day whole class reading session. That's a must. We have to do that. Then the targeted interventions. So targeted interventions are at the moment target readers, phonics support, which is Jolly Phonics and No Nonsense in Key Stage 2, Arrow, Precision Teaching, Toe by Toe, Bug Club, Rapid Readers, and then of course the Easter School Reading and the Saturday School Reading comprehension groups. Buddy and role models will again develop further when we can invite people in, which will be the Key Stage 2, Key Stage 1, EYFS Reading Buddies, Reading Champion, role models, sports role models, YouTube style book club, and of course our Padlet. And what real life experiences. So when we can, we allow children and encourage them to read within the community. Example at the local retirement home and church, reading at a local library, community bookcase project, reading sacks, reading boxes, optional reading termly challenges, monthly reading calendar of events, Key Stage 2 YouTube style book club review, Friday community fire-style read, and pupil-led reading newsletter, which is an exciting development that will be happening soon. So very quickly, synthetic phonics. Why do we do it? We follow the EEF recommendations, the Scarborough Reading Rope and Clackmannshire report. What do we use? We use Jolly Phonics and Phonics Bug in EYFS. And moving into Key Stage 1, we use Phonics Bug. Any children that need phonics support in Key Stage 2, we use the No Nonsense Phonics. And how do we do it? By structured lessons each day. So the in-school teaching. Why do we do it? Again, because we base on research. So Scarborough Reading Rope, EEF recommendations for Key Stage 1, Key Stage 2, and of course EYFS. How do we teach reading at school? We have the structured phonics, we have structured teaching of reading, and we have the whole class reading. And our structured teaching of reading focuses on vocabulary, inference, prediction, explaining, retrieving, and summarising. And the daily end of day whole class read is 20 to 30 minutes per day, each child with a copy of the book, reading at pace, choral style, and we're aiming for Year 2, a minimum of 90 plus words per minute, and by Year 6, 170 plus words per minute. The books that we choose are carefully chosen and they're allocated per year group, and they're on our Mayflower reading spine, and they cover the genres fiction, non-fiction, poetry, and play scripts. So in-school frequency of reading experiences. So now we're thinking about all the children in our class, especially the children that we know don't read at home as much as we would like them to. And we're not just talking about disadvantaged pupils, we're also talking about pupils who may have more professional parents but aren't being listened to reading at home, and you know who those children are. So why do we do it? We follow the benchmarking of phonics data, Scarborough Reading Rope. We look at evidence for reading for pleasure, and of course the EEF recommendations. What do? We have in-school interventions, daily phonics sessions, independent reading for pleasure sessions, teaching of reading, bug club space practice that will now be happening in every class, every day, daily whole class end of day story, and the Watch Me Read video reading diary I'm going to explain. And how do we do it? By the interventions, daily phonics sessions. We encourage all children to take a reading for pleasure book home alongside their scheme book. Teaching of reading is focused on vocab, inference, prediction, explaining, retrieving, and summarising. Bug club space practice laptop is set up for children to access every day. And the whole class end of day reading. And of course, our Watch Me Read video diary, which uses the blogging stations that we do weekly. This one talks about the interventions. So why again? Same thing. Benchmarking phonics data and all the research around reading, Scarborough Reading Rope, reading for pleasure, and the EEF recommendations. What do? We do it in school, face-to-face after school, remotely after school, Easter school, and Saturday school. And how do we do it? We do it through the interventions. We do face-to-face after school clubs. We do remote after school reading. And of course, we do the Easter school and the Saturday school. How do we encourage pupils to access and have their own broad library? Well, we work through at school, remotely, and at home. So we have our bookshop, which maybe have some new exciting developments in the pipeline. We have in-school reading for pleasure phase libraries. We have in-school project libraries in the classroom. We have benchmarked home reading books on a daily basis, plus decodable phonics books for those that are still reading phonetically. We have reading for pleasure, own choice books. So some children may be getting 3 books. Some children will be getting 2 books on a daily basis, or every couple of days, depending on the length of the books they're reading. Use your discretion as needed. And remote, we have over 300 books per child, which match the benchmarking reading confidences. And that's used through our bug club. And of course, we have our bug club, our Padlet, that's where the children write their own reviews. This one talks about the buddy and the role model system. So on the left, why? Why is it important? You can see evidence there under the Reading for Pleasure link. What do? We focus on in-school and remotely. So when we can, we have in-school parent community reading champions that read with focused readers. We have cross-key stage reading buddies, and we have sports role models coming in to read. Remotely, we have community reading story time, weekly reading sessions. We have the remote community fireside read, which is open to all pupils, year 1 to year 6. And we have the remote MCA children's Padlet. Moving on to our educated network of support, we're focusing on in-school community and city and nationwide. We have our parent reading champions. We have CPD for teachers and TAs. We have community phonics and reading workshops. We have the adult community reading chat group, which we're working with Plymouth Libraries to do. And of course, we have the Open University and the Southwest Teacher Reading Group. And the last page of the Reading Diet gives an overview of how we supported reading during the lockdowns. Just coming back on. So that gives you a really brief whistle stop. That's called our Reading Diet. And that's really important for what I'm going to explain now. So, reading journals, as we've been doing them, and now we're going to stop because we've got the information that we need from them. We know absolutely now which children are not reading at home for the 5 times per week. We also know from the reading journals the genres that our children like to use. But we want to move with the times because reading journals were brought out many years ago when TAs could sit down with the children and spend the whole morning listening to a child read, and it was the communication between the home and the school. However, things have changed and we don't have time to do that anymore. TAs' roles have moved on and progressed. And so we need to think carefully about how we can still support the children reading. So realistically, we now need to think about those children that we know aren't reading. And like I said before, it's not just the disadvantaged pupils, it's also pupils who have a more professional background, whose parents have a more professional background, but with their working hours, etc., they're really struggling to listen to the children read. And so what we need to do is bring the onus back onto us at school, which is why the reading diet that I've just gone through is so very important. Okay, we need to make sure that those children that we know don't read at home are having access to every single part of that reading diet. Okay, it's now, this is what we do. Okay, and I'm going to share with you something else, which is something new and very exciting. And this is called Watch Me Become a Reader, my 12-week video diary. Okay, and it's great. It's really simple. It's based on PowerPoint. So Watch Me Become a Reader, my 12-week video diary. My name is, I am in class, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm asking you, class teachers, I will send this to you and I'd like you to send it out to your class next Monday, so the 26th of April, okay? And let me go through each slide and then you'll know what it is. So this says, wouldn't it be wonderful to keep a record of how your child is progressing with their reading? We would like to introduce you to the Mayflower Watch Me Become a Reader interactive 12-week video diary. It is very simple to do and so incredibly special. It's a great way for you and us at school to celebrate your child's reading. So what do you need to do? Follow the simple steps below. So what we're asking parents to do is take a video of their child reading, okay? Just a 2-minute clip will suffice of them reading. If they want to add more than once per week, then they can, but we are asking them to add just 1 2-minute clip once per week onto the PowerPoint. So they'll upload the video, save it, insert it onto the PowerPoint, and then once a week or every couple of weeks, they will send it to us. And so we can see, we can create a special sharing time on a Friday with your class where you can have a quick look at the children reading. So basically what it is, it's a really nice way of us informally watching the children progress with their reading. It's like a 12-week diary, basically. It is a 12-week video diary. So here are some questions that I've put for the parents. Now, they don't have to do every single one, and we don't want them to be writing the questions down. These are literally almost sentence starters, just prompts for them to have discussions with their children about what they're reading. And they choose whichever one they want. And this is the format that they're going to receive. So week 1, week beginning the 26th of April, I am reading, and here they will simply insert the video, save it, and send it back to us so we can share. By the end, if I just scroll down, there are 12 weeks of reading for them to insert. And at the end, if they want to do this, what do I notice about my reading now? So a little bit of reflection. So hopefully over the 12 weeks, we will be able to see progress in their fluency, in their pace, in their confidence, in their decoding, in the segmenting, in the blending, etc. And the children will really feel proud of what they've done. So what are the next steps? This, I'm going to send it to you by the end of the week. I'd like you to send it out to the parents on Monday, so Monday the 26th. Make sure that every single child in your class has got this, please. We're not expecting this to be tracked, okay? So there is no more ticking lists and chasing and ringing. What I'm expecting you to do, and I'm just asking you to do this, is just to send a simple email once per week to your class, just saying, hey, come on, don't forget, 12-week video diary, how are you doing? If you want to email us it, we'd love to share it in class. Just something like that. Now, you might be thinking, but what about the children? It will be the same children that do it each week. Yes, you're right, it will. And so it's our responsibility as class teachers. Think about the reading diet that I've just talked you through. We're going to take that now, and those children that you know don't read at home, you're going to pull them out, or your TA can pull them out, do a quick 2-minute video and upload it onto their PowerPoint and save it at school. It's as simple as that. For the older children and the more confident children, they can use the blogging stations, as long as they tell you so that you know that you need to take it off and insert it into their PowerPoint. We just want to make it as easy and effective, and I think this will be a really good way of seeing the children progress through their reading. And like I say, I think they'll love it, they'll feel super proud, and I also think we'll get quite a high engagement from the parents. Ross asked if he could take some children out to do this quick video diary, the ones that haven't done it at home, during teaching of reading sessions. Obviously not every day and not for the full session, but a child could be taken out for the 2-3 minutes to do the video clip and then straight back in. Yeah, absolutely, be flexible with the time. So reading journals will now stop, okay? This will replace the reading journals, and I will send an email and a video, and I'll tweet and explain the parents why. So this will be happening, and the parents will know about this by the end of the week. Okay. Reading certificates will also stop, because remember, in your classroom you're going to now have the Bug Club station up and running, which tracks itself. Most children will now be reading at least 5 times a week. So what will happen is reading certificates will stop. In their place will be some reading stickers that are easy. You quickly peel them off, and there'll be something, for example, for like perseverance in reading. We'll tie it back to our PLB, BLP displays. Okay, so it'll be really, everything will tie in about how we learn at Mayflower. And to get these stickers, it will be for children that have worked incredibly hard. For example, it might be for the children that have done the 12-week video diary or are doing it every week at a time. It might be for the children, you might give them the sticker for the ones that are coming to every reading intervention, that are working hard, that are making progress. So I'm not going to dictate who you give these stickers to or how you do it. It's going to be very much under your discretion. Okay, so hopefully, I'm really hoping now this is a new, exciting step forwards. It's so much less paperwork, less administration, less collecting data for data collection, for just spending time going through that. It's now going to be much more quicker, much more effective and efficient, and I think it'll be a great way of actually celebrating reading together. So this will start on Monday. Okay, so if anybody has any questions that they want to ask me, of course, you can ask me anything at any time. Okay, thank you very much.